Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers. This is Joe Justice, and in this episode we are sitting down with Bob Theuring, a business coach here in town, and I thought what we would do is discuss in 10 minutes, I got a little timer here, in 10 minutes or less, we will pick a business topic that can really help move the needle for your business and help you out with moving forward. So first, to get started off, Bob, tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Sure. My name is Bob Theuring. I'm from Huntington, West Virginia. I live in Ona, West Virginia, and I have a coaching business called Tandem Innovations. I help people to be the best they can be. I help them hold them accountable, and people reach out to me because they want to increase their impact, which is maybe we'll talk about that. Their income, maybe we'll talk about that. Their influence on people. That's why people usually reach out to me. So I do group coaching, individual coaching, life, success coaching, whatever you want to call it.
Great. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit today about a topic that comes up a lot when you're dealing with entrepreneurs, small, even larger businesses, I've noticed, and that's the topic of kind of demystifying marketing. Is that something, is marketing, advertising, sales, all that kind of stuff, is that something that you deal with a lot?
Okay, and a little bit of a loaded question by you because the answer is yes, but is it my specialty? I don't know that I have a specialty. I'm kind of a generalist on this stuff, but people come to me, the statement, I want to grow my business or get my word out. So I would call that marketing.
Well, I don't think you can grow a business without understanding marketing, or you can't grow it very effectively. It's possible if you're in a good market. Mm-hmm. You know, there are periods of time where people that are in good markets, you know, the right person, the right place, at the right time, where they can, you know, do whatever they want to, and they just make money hand over fist. That happens. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I think it typically takes a lot of hard work and kind of an understanding of how marketing and sales operate to be successful.
Yeah, and you know, what I do with coaching is go deep with people. And I think you'll agree with me on this. I'll flip it back to you here. But like when people come to me with, I'm not getting the word out, I need to market or sell or whatever term they use, I spend time with them going deeper on what you're wanting, the emotional-based message you're wanting to get out there. I would think you do some level of that in what you do, if I flip it back to you here.
I do, yeah. So whenever I talk to people about marketing, business development in general, mm-hmm. I do like to talk to them about what they're trying to accomplish, what their experiences in the past, what kind of systems have they built, what kind of approach have they used. The thing, you know, it's one of those difficult things because it's like, marketing is a really good example. There's a lot of other examples of these types of things, but it's way better to spend $1,000 for 6 months than it is to spend $6,000 for 1 month, right? So, because then you can have a system and you can kind of roll with it and you can like move and adjust and do those types of things. So those are I like to understand, because I don't want to say to somebody that some form of marketing does or doesn't work, because it's like some people say, oh, billboards don't work, oh, radio doesn't work, oh, television doesn't work, oh, digital doesn't work. They'll always say this, that. They all work, or else they wouldn't be selling it. It's whether or not it works for you in your market at your price range, or you're using it effectively. So I do like to encourage, in a weird kind of paradoxical way, I do kind of encourage people like you should be doing something. You should definitely be doing something. Maybe that's just sending out postcards every day. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I do like to caution people. It's like if you've got a marketing budget of $10,000 and you spend it all in 1 month, that's something, but I wouldn't consider that effective. Mm-hmm.
And you know, a lot of what I work with is the referral marketing side of things. Right. And that's a slower process. Generally speaking, it's a slower process. Yep. And they use the analogy of it's more farming than hunting. You may have heard that before. Yep. But I think that's true in any of this. Outside, unless you've got a 1 month campaign because you're doing a product, that's a little bit different. But the overall outreach of marketing, growing your business, I think is more of a farming concept. Am I wrong?
I think, yes, I am a big believer in, so the way that I differentiate those two things is I consider marketing to be farming, mm-hmm. and I consider sales to be hunting. Okay. I don't like using a predatory analogy, though, mm-hmm. Because I don't like whenever you run into salespeople that talk about how they've got a hit list, or they've got like their sharks or their wolves. I think that when you interpret, I'm a big believer in words. And I think if you're constantly calling your customers prey, then you will treat them as prey, and you will attempt to prey on them, whether you know it or not. And what's weird is people can feel that. Like if they can tell if all you're trying to do is get that sale and you couldn't care less whether they lived or died. And they don't want to work with you if you come at them in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, words. You and I've talked about this. Words have power. And another trainer in Charleston, Chuck, I think you might know him. He and I were talking one day, and he said he even avoids when he does what people would call like team training. He says, I've even tried to eliminate that word team sometimes because it can even feel like we're trying to beat and win. So you just don't know. And so it's the evolving concept.
It's interesting because we do have, like, there are so many, and it's natural, like they're kind of like war and survival are kind of really rooted. Mm-hmm. So like a lot, like the truth is reciprocity is your most powerful tool that you can use for building business. But a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people don't think in reciprocal ways. They think in transactional ways.
Yes.
And it's all about like, how can I screw you today so that I can get more money? You know. But like that will work today, but tomorrow you're not going to work with me anymore.
And by the way, we could apply that to anything, to dieting, to whatever it may be. And we're in a culture, not that it's new, but a culture of instant gratification. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes at dinner, if we're going out to dinner, I'm like, where can I get the bread at the table at first, or the chips and salsa right off?
It's all post-scarcity.
Yes.
Like abundance. We've got abundance everywhere. So you don't have to really work for it anymore. Yes.
And I think that the abundance and scarcity, it comes right on into the marketing concept too, what you and I are talking about. So the myth here, the myth of the marketing, what do you, we flip back to you again, what do you mean there? What do you think that means to people?
Well, I just think that it's important to understand, for people to understand that there are ways to market, there are ways to message, and there's all these sub-disciplines in marketing, from public relations to copywriting to creative development, creative ads, business development, things like that. It's just important to, have realistic expectations, understand that there are kind of right ways and wrong ways, to understand the most important thing to me whenever I talk to people is to get out of the mindset of what I call the magical ad syndrome, which is people have this belief that they're going to put a Facebook post or a billboard or a postcard. They're going to send out a postcard, and that's just going to get the phone ringing off the hook, and they're going to be set for life. They're going to be retiring next month. A lot of people kind of have that, and if it doesn't happen, it's like marketing doesn't work. So no, you have to do it consistently. You have to figure out what works, what doesn't work. In the marketing world in particular, what worked so do you think your yellow page ads that were going gangbusters 20 years ago, if you spend the same amount of money on yellow pages today, do you think, now if I did that, if I spent $1,000 a month on yellow page ads and it didn't work, is it right for me to say, well, marketing doesn't work? Because yellow page ads, that's marketing, and I'm beating up on yellow. I hope nobody that sells yellow page ads is watching this.
Well, no, you make a good point, and that's where an expert comes into play too. Like, I can't do all that myself. Right. I can't know all that myself.
Which, by the way, there are certain industries where yellow page ads do really well.
There, yes.
For elderly care and things like that.
And geographically areas, yes, I think you're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
But that comes back to...
But if you're trying to reach 20-year-olds, probably not what you want to advertise in.
At this, by the way, today, we don't know we don't know. I can't imagine it turning back, but we don't know.
But you have to do something. But I definitely, so when it comes to the myth is typically like marketing doesn't work, or I don't need marketing, or something along those lines. Or, you've done something with somebody that hoodwinked you, convinced you that if you bought this service, you bought this product, you bought, whatever it was, you spent $10,000 on it, you don't have anything to show. Well, they're all scumbags, they're all cheaters, they're all out to get me, none of it works. And that's kind of what I see as kind of the myth.
You're right, and as I hear you talk, it makes me realize where you and I have to get better at doing this and helping people. If that makes, I'm not saying you don't do a good job with it,
I think
but
so.
People don't know. They need to be trusted. We need to ask better questions, because I've talked to experts who've been in their business for 50 years, and I tell them, what's an ideal referral for you? And they'll stare at me. Because they know what they know in their business. So that's where you and I think have to get better, asking better questions, which is a marketing concept.
That's right.
So
that's right. ask the right questions. That's probably 90% of the answer, right? Is the right question.
Yep.
Right.
No question.
Bob, thank you so much. This has been a very good one. It's been very enlightening. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.